So many times here on Versus the Network, I've talked about shows getting screwed over by networks that either don't care, are malicious, or plain incompetent. Looking at you, UPN. But never once did I think that I would be the one getting screwed over by the network. So, welcome everybody to Versus the Network number 402. What happens when the network is YouTube? Yes, I know it's not a creative subtitle or anything like that. I don't really think this moment deserves a clever subtitle. It's a little too personal, you know? So, Media Mementos first got started back in 2019, and as most media analysis channels will tell you, YouTube's automated copyright system is no friend of ours, and for what it's worth, we're no friend of theirs. They just keep pinging us again and again, though thankfully, most of the copyright claims seem to go away upon the first dispute. However, with greedy companies like, Warner Brothers, whenever we talk about anything Animaniacs related, we have to reach out to YouTube on Twitter to let them know, hey, this fair use video that's legally clear is for some reason not being accepted by Warner Brothers, so you mind helping us out? That's all par for the course. So are instances like when we were uploading the first version of the Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon video, the automated system kept blocking our video in most or all territories because we were using footage from the episode Mad Dog Hoek, even though we weren't. Not a single frame of footage appears in that entire video. And then once we removed that part, a clip 3 seconds later would be pinged, and then we kept repeating the process until like 6 times later we were finally clear. To this day, I'm still confused. Then there are more egregious instances of copyright weirdness, like after 1 year of having no issues whatsoever, the Other Father Character Quest video got copyrighted by ad revenue for a third party. For those of you who don't know what this is a scam organization that falsely claims copyrighted works just so that they can steal revenue from hardworking creators. Our requests were denied both times, meaning that all money going from this 600,000 view video goes directly to ad revenue for a third party. It seems like now they've been shut down, which is great, but also, we are now permanently locked out of disputing the video, so the money's going nowhere. We've reached out to YouTube about this a couple times, and we've even made some videos directed towards them, and they didn't care. And look, I'm not some guy who's just consumed with money. I mean, I do need it in order to pay my editing team, but still, the fact that I'm getting robbed isn't my main concern. The fact is that I'm getting robbed with no way of fighting back. But oh, that's not the moment you want to hear about, is it? Last month, Media Mementos was suddenly demonetized with no warning, claiming that the channel uses reused content, thereby violating its terms of service. Naturally, we all freaked out when we heard the news, and we freaked out even more when we saw that our rational dispute was rejected after a manual peer review, courtesy of YouTube themselves. Look, alright, full disclosure here, I know I don't normally get too much into my personal life on this channel, but I'm gonna be real. The last few months have been far from easy for me. I've been in kind of a dark, unhappy place for a lot of it. I'm not fully out of the woods yet, but things are getting better. But when this hit, I was at one of my lowest points. I legitimately didn't know what I was going to do. There was just extreme anger, extreme sadness, nothing was working for me at all in my real life, and now this has all come crashing down. What was I to do? The answer was let people know, hey, if this doesn't get resolved, and I don't think it will because YouTube is full of incompetent know-nothings, this might be the end. It wasn't until a George Bailey-esque we're all coming out of the woodwork to help fight for this guy we like situation for YouTube to finally change their minds. They tweeted back to me saying, oh yeah, by the way, that whole thing, that was just a silly mistake. You don't get anything you lost back or any sort of compensation in any form. We're just sorry. And by the way, that was a total lie. Like I said, when you appeal a copyright claim after it had originally been rejected, it becomes a manual review. that means somebody over at YouTube or Google headquarters has to look at your content and judge for themselves. And I'm so thankful for every single person who reached out to YouTube on our behalf. All the videos, all the social media posts, the Reddit listings. Man, I really needed to see that. I wish I could thank every single one of you by name. Really, I do. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We really couldn't have done it without you. And if it was a glitch in YouTube's system, I really would be understanding. That happens all the time. Social media, and of course YouTube by extension, are all new technologies. It's only fair that an automated system's not really going to work all the time, but the fact that they not only did this manually, but also have no way to contact them unless you post loud and angry tweets on social media, that's what gets me. YouTube pretends that they care, but they really don't. If they cared, they would have a way for creators to contact them in order to fix their mistakes. There's no phone number to call, there's no online chat to enter. All they have are generic blank templates explaining generalized versions of your problems. And even then, it's all done in YouTube speak where the creator is always wrong. So they're far from helpful. YouTube is owned by Google, who is a multi-billion-dollar organization, so if you tell me that for whatever reason they couldn't afford a system like this, or that it would be impractical, no. Other companies do it, why can't YouTube? They make themselves hard to reach, impose unpopular and unrealistic expectations, and then whenever their system messes up, or one of their employees makes a bad decision, the creator is on the hook. Oh sure, like in this quote-unquote apology tweet that they sent me after this whole situation was over, they said that they were going to take some measures to change their system, but it's been 10 years since this stuff has been happening, and very little has changed. Transparency has never been one of YouTube's strong suits, but now more than ever, when creators are becoming more afflicted by YouTube's policies, and of course the actions of bad actors from all over the world, this is not going to work. And since they don't care, I've also decided that I don't care either. Wow, I'm really gonna say it. During the time where this whole thing was going down, and especially in the cool-off period after, where I decided not to make any announcements or social media posts or rush into making the script for this video, just so that, we could cool off and we can look at this whole thing from a more rational perspective rather than just emotional. During this time, I thought a lot about the situation, I prayed hard about it, I consulted my friends, my family, and the result came pretty clearly on all fronts. The way I see it, it's a lot like that old Lorax quote. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, it's not going to get better, it's just not. Something like that. The someone like you, in this case, of course, being YouTube, the people with the power to make things better. To some extent. After all, copyright law does change from country to country, but if they won't change the system with American companies pushing around American YouTubers solely in America, then okay. I'm not going to subject myself to this abuse forever. No way. I'm worth more than that. So, yeah, that means that at the end of the day, there is going to be an expiration date on Media Mementos, but like I said before, it's going to be on my own terms. Now, don't get all freaked out yet, I'm not saying I'm quitting. Yet. What came to me, though, and this was kind of a surprise, but one of my friends had a conversation with me, and she helped me realize that I've been talking about other people's things for 12 years. Yes, 5 of them have been on Media Mementos, but all the others were on mostly unlisted videos now on my old TAS Productions channel, where I would just talk about other people's shows or movies and the stories behind them. And while I still think it's a lot of fun, dissecting all these characters and going behind the scenes with these productions that I either love or despise, I've rarely gotten the chance to make my own thing. When I first came onto YouTube all the way back in 2012, that's what I wanted to do. Now, of course, what I wanted to do back then greatly varies from what I want to do now, but the end goal has always been the same. And while yes, I've been fascinated with behind-the-scenes workings of Hollywood shows and whatever, there's still that undeniable passion for me to make something that's wholly mine. And I'm not talking about something like VeggieTales Live and Reloaded or VeggieTales Abridged, not something that's connected to a pre-existing property. I'm talking about something along the likes of the short-lived Dorland Misadventures, which was one of the only 2 times I've ever gotten to do that. Unfortunately, around the time I was producing then what was known as Standard Misadventures, as well as some other side projects as well, I was a bit too green, inexperienced. I didn't know what I was doing. For the most part, I was still in college, having a lot going on, and, well, I didn't know what I was doing. But now that I'm older and I have more experience and more connections, I'm thinking maybe now's the time. No one's going to make it happen except myself. And again, unless someone like me cares a whole awful lot, it's not going to get better, it's just not. And I want things to get better. I'm tired of having this dark cloud hanging over me in my own life. I gotta find some more outlets, And I've always loved writing and creating new worlds and showing them to people, inspiring them, making them happy, or anything like that, so why not do it again? I've gone way beyond the script at this point. I think you can tell just by how stream of consciousness this all sounds. But that's okay. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to the future. And man, it's gonna be great. And once again, I have to repeat, I still like doing Media Mementos. It's a lot of fun. And with all the stuff we've got planned for later on, ooh boy. Then again, I have to reiterate that it's not going to last forever. And that's what I, the aspiring creator, have learned from this situation. Relying on folks like YouTube to help carry you throughout life or your hobbies or whatever, it's not always something you can lean on, especially when it acts like this. Now, I'm not discouraging people from making content like this or content in general. I'm just saying, be careful. And have a safety net, of course, because if YouTube decides to do its YouTube thing, you don't want to be caught unprepared. I know I certainly was. If you watch videos of people complaining about the YouTube copyright system and thinking, that can never happen to me, it can and will, and you won't get any notice until it's too late. But don't lie down and take it until YouTube decides to implement some sort of easier way to get a hold of them. You have to make noise, get loud, get angry. Just, of course, be civil. Don't hurt anybody, don't harass anybody, but yes, make your voice heard. And in case you're wondering about the future of Media Mementos and what that's going to bring, well, let me tell you. While I'm working on whatever it is I'm going to be working on behind the scenes, you probably aren't going to notice a difference. You'll still get the 2, very occasionally 3 videos per month, most of which still being chosen by the Patreon people, link in the description below, plug. This, of course, means that you can keep enjoying the channel as you have been, or possibly have not been, up until this point. Now, when the Patreon shuts down, that's going to be the sign where things are coming to an end. The plan is, once it's time to start wrapping the channel up, that can either be when the thing I'm producing or writing has finally gotten some momentum, I'm no longer able to produce videos at a regular pace in my personal life, which is already really busy, and that, by the way, is the reason why I'm not super active on platforms like Discord. I'd love to, I just don't have the time. But like I was saying, once something like that happens, where either I'm ready to make the switch or my personal life makes it no longer possible to make videos, the Patreon shuts down, but the channel will stay open for a little while longer. I'm going to use that period of time to make all of the videos that Billy and I were not able to make up until that point, meaning that we can finish the channel up fully satisfied knowing that every little thing we've always wanted to do, we finally get the chance to make. And yes, that does mean that Billy's gonna pop up more and more from time to time, so that's fun. Don't worry, this is not going to be some big surprise, oh yeah, we're done, see ya. It's like when I stopped making reviews last year. I was very public about it and reminded the audience constantly. It's going to be more of the same. So one last time, you've still got me, at least for a little while. Man, looking at this whole situation, I really did get lucky. If it wasn't for the passionate, caring fan base that I've amassed, I don't know what would have happened. So you, the aspiring creators out there, take everything I've said to heart, especially if you're thinking about getting into the same field that I'm in. Be ready for anything at a moment's notice, because if not, you could end up like little old me. Though in some cases, that might not be the worst thing. Sometimes, right after a crisis is where you have the clearest head. I know that's what happened to me, and if you're going through this too, I hope the same happens to you. Alright folks, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.